From London, England, where the Queen lives.
Recorded live from an underground bunker and packaged into an MP3 with a pretty little picture. Helping to kickstart your day with the motivation and inspiration you need 365 days a year. This is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. And this is your host, Chris Jaggs.
Are you waiting? Are you waiting for that calling, that moment or sign to start whatever it is that you've always wanted to do? Waiting for motivation to strike doesn't work, but there are plenty of things you can do to get yourself going. Good morning! My name is Chris Jaggs and this is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. Now, how are you doing today? Now, I know I can't hear your answer, but I hope you're all good in the hood. Welcome to episode 116 of the Learn, Develop, Live podcast on another big day that is ready for you to go and make something big happen for you. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Let's do this! Yeah! Right, calm down and let's go. In this episode, we're going to carry on a little procrastination thing and why you shouldn't just sit there twiddling your thumbs waiting for the moment of motivation or inspiration to come and find you. The question is, why do we procrastinate? We covered it before, but for some context, people often procrastinate because they're afraid of failing at the task that they need to complete. This fear of failure can promote procrastination in various ways, such as by causing people to avoid finishing a task, or by causing them to avoid getting started on a task in the first place. Sounds simple, right? But so many people just get caught up in it all. Now let's get ourselves comfortable and we can get into this.
What are you guys talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Learn, develop, live. Your daily cup of motivation.
If you're enjoying this podcast, why not leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or whatever else allows you? Add in your favourite motivational quote and it will be read out on a future episode.
Welcome back, one and all. Now, question for you. Do you put off until the next day what you should have finished the day before yesterday? Bit of a riddle. If that was a yes, well, unsurprisingly, you're not alone. Everyone procrastinates in some way. But that doesn't make everyone a procrastinator, despite what you may think. Research has shown that chronic procrastinators count for 20% of humans out there. Procrastinators often see a lack of motivation as the reason they delay action. If you are someone that desires success in your life, well, you're going to need to try and train yourself to take some action and stick with whatever you're trying to do, even when you can't be bothered. A lot of people get the whole motivation thing wrong in their heads to start this off. For most people, hearing the word motivation can ignite the dreams you've had for all the things you'd like to do during your life. If, of course, you had that motivation. Oh, if only you had that motivation. For the most, people will think the bigger goals out there. Being able to train to run a marathon. Maybe starting that course that could finally put you up to that dream job of yours. The idea of being an inspiring author that pops into your head. But with these exciting jobs, there are also the less attractive ones. Cleaning out the airing cupboard, sorting out the back garden, or seeing how many monsters are actually living under the bed. Whatever it is for you that you want to achieve and knock off the job list, if you're finding it difficult to get the motivation that you really need, it can be hard to make anything happen. Plenty of people struggle with motivation even when we know we should be doing something about that task that we have looming over us. We think our biggest problem is just a lack of motivation. But it's this viewpoint that is actually hurting us more than helping our cause. While many of us are waiting for that motivation to strike, to create that fire that we need to get ourselves going, we continue to stay in our shells and we miss out on the opportunities that we didn't take up as we effectively wish our days just go by. Before we can work out why waiting for motivation to strike won't work, it's worth noting what looks to be the main reason why people actually fail. It's simply people trade what they want most for what they want at the moment. It's easier to just sit and watch Netflix compared to, say, maybe a hardcore planning session for the next part of the dream that you're chasing. People that succeed work towards that eventual success instead of that temporary pleasure of procrastination. It's the unrelenting action and well thought out strategies that thrust them towards success and fame, So, plan it and then act on it. So the question is this: just why does waiting for motivation to strike not actually work? Now, the theory for most people is that effort is the result of motivation. But really, motivation is the result of effort. Motivation is the outcome of a cycle that begins with effort. There is some science behind how the brain works this all out, and it's down to that feel-good neurotransmitter that is commonly associated with pleasure. Dopamine plays a critical part in our reward system and is released after we've accomplished something. Hence, the wonderful feeling that you get once you've checked something off your task list. Well done, you. Researchers also believe that dopamine plays a vital role in encouraging us to do things in the first place. So the more dopamine you have in your brain, the easier it is to do what you want to do. Next time you're waiting for motivation to do something, start with something small and try and resist the urge to not start until you feel that you're ready or motivated to do it. A small win can be the platform for the big wins to come. If you wanted to get yourself feeling fitter, for example, starting with something small that is easy to achieve can help trigger some of the dopamine release in your brain to create that motivation. The idea of small can also mean different things to different people, so just getting your gym kit ready the night before can cause a spark. Seeing the sun shine outside as you put your running shoes on will not only trigger that spark, but could also even help push you out the door a little bit quicker. That trigger release will help set you up and off you go to your next big step. For some people, this first step might exactly be what you need to motivate yourself to take the desired next step, but for others, it may just act as a stepping stone onto the next small task. Breaking any task down into smaller but more manageable parts can make it easier for you to take that initial step into action. A snowball is a great example of this when it goes down a hill. It starts small and slowly or quite quickly it can build up some momentum. Eventually, your motivation will become that huge snowball and the momentum will take it flying down the hill towards that goal of yours. Done and done. But the snowball theory, unfortunately, won't work for everyone, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed with the amount of things that you have to do or just the scale of the task ahead of you. Instead of focusing on the outcome or the goal you want to achieve, try focusing on the process. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer volume of what you're trying to accomplish, which is why breaking things down can be so impactful. It's important to also keep in mind that focusing solely on the outcome, this can actually become a distraction when it comes to achieving your goals because it's so easy to just get sidetracked by the distance between where you are now and where you want to be. Focusing on the process can help combat this tendency. If you're running a marathon, for example, focusing on the distance you have left to finish can be very discouraging and overwhelming. But if you focus on the process of running, putting one foot in front of the other, this gives you something real to improve and makes it easier to stay on target. This process alone is why extremely successful people set a goal and then focus all their attention on the process necessary to achieve it. That goal will always be there, but what you should care about most and focus on is what you need to do today. And when you accomplish that, you'll feel happy about today and you can see the progress that you're making. That sense of accomplishment gives them all the motivation they need to do what they need to do when tomorrow comes. Because success, even tiny, incremental success, is the best motivation of all. Choosing discipline over temporary pleasure, feel the pain, learn to live with the pain. Procrastination doesn't give up without a fight. But you must keep going. You must continue smashing through your goals no matter how hard the resistance you feel inside just pushes you back. Look to start with small steps. Maybe you'll always struggle a little with procrastination. That's alright, as long as you stay on the course. You are your own motivation, and that is the most important spark that you are ever going to need. So what exactly is your own superpower? Now, do you have an idea in your head? Is there something that you really want to try for yourself? Well, the good news is there has never been a better time to get yourself started right now. Right now. So let's not delay no more. Whatever the idea you have right now in your head, whatever the problem is that you're trying to, just ignore. As Rafiki from The Lion King would say, it is time. And it's time for you to take some action and book your free, yes, it's free, Learn, Develop, Live Power Call with me. Go to ldlcall.com, book the time slot best for you, and we can get you moving on the right track. The time for you is now. Forget procrastination, forget all the distractions. Let's get you going on the road to success. Book your call, and I look forward to talking to you. But as for the podcast, well, I'll be back tomorrow for more. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. I used to get in trouble, getting in fights, spent time inside, time in prison. Then I realised my dream was a Learn, Develop, Live podcast. Now I'm in Swan Lake. Bellissimo.
You're listening to the Learn, Develop, Live podcast.
Goodbye.
What? It's over already?
All over.
Thank you for listening to the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. I hope you feel as warm, motivated, and fuzzy inside as I do. You can connect with Chris at learndeveloplive.com or on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
I won't say goodbye. I'll just say until we meet again.
Until next time, join the motivation. Motivation.